All right. Good evening. Welcome to another live episode of the O&G StrikeZone. Bryan Fulford and Kelvin Rozier here. You not hearing me? Test 1, 2. We're live. Kelvin, you can't hear me. That's not good. I don't know what happens. Hello. Give me a thumbs up in the chat room, people. Let me know that you can hear me. Maybe it's Kelvin's headphones. Give me a thumbs up in the chats. Let me know that you can hear me. Welcome to another live episode of the O&G StrikeZone. All right, James Austin. Thank you, James. You can hear me. Kelvin, how about you? Can you hear me? Kelvin? All right, everybody's hearing me. So they're not hearing you, Kelvin. It's you. Kelvin? All right, so maybe Kelvin's dealing with some technical difficulties at the moment. We'll try to figure out what's going on with here. Let's try it again. Kelvin, are you there? Test 1, 2. Kelvin, are you there? You're on mute right now, if you can hear me. Nope, can't hear you. What happened to that great soundboard that you had all figured out last week? I could hear you just a second ago before we came on the air. All right, do this. Let me see. I just heard something, Kelvin. What'd you do? All right, Kelvin's doing something with his audio. Get it figured out here in a second. Kelvin, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? All right, log out and log back in, Kelvin. Come back in a second. We'll try to figure out what's going on with Kelvin here in a second. Maybe he'll figure out. We'll get that technology thing figured out on our end. Good to have everybody on with you tonight. Or we're looking forward to a good show. Hopefully we get over the little technical difficulties that we're having at the moment. But we're excited about tonight's show. Not only are we going to get a chance to celebrate another championship, but we'll have on our first introduction to our men's basketball coach, Heisman Trophy winner, former first-round NBA draft pick, Coach Charlie Ward Jr., and then that's at the bottom of hour 1. And then at the bottom of hour 2, we will have on Coach Brittany Beal, fresh off of a long week in Gulfport, Mississippi for our Lady Rattlers, as we got all the way to the final day, the if game, in which the Lady Rattlers survived not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 consecutive games, elimination games, forcing a final game against Jackson State in pretty much a rematch of last year's championship. Unfortunately, we came up a little short, losing to Jackson State 3-1, but could not have been more proud of Coach Beal's Lady Rattlers, as they did a great job in Gulfport. An outstanding, how many games were decided by 1 run? I think we had 3 walk-offs, 3 or 4 walk-offs. So, all kinds of emotions that went into that game. We'll also kind of share some thoughts on the baseball season as we're approaching the final regular season series this weekend against Alcorn State, which, Alcorn State is dead last in the standings. So you don't take anybody lightly, and I know Coach Shoup and the guys won't, but our expectation is that we sweep, and then we're pretty much locked into the 2 seed. There is a scenario where we could take the first place regular season title. We'll talk about those scenarios. Thanks to Dr. Cavill. If you caught last night inside the HBCU Sports Lab, Doc did a great job of breaking down all of the various scenarios. It'd be pretty interesting watching how this final 3 or 4 days in the SWAC baseball season go here in the regular season. So we'll talk about that as well. Let me see if I got Kelvin. Welcome back to the show, Kelvin Rozier.
What's up, my brother? Good to be back, man. I had a phone call. My daughter had a phone call, and some kind of way things got switched over to the phone instead of the computer. But I'm good now.
All right, all right. Yeah, put that phone on D&D. Do not disturb while while the show is going on. Much love to you. How's everything in Tallahassee? Oh, what a day in Tallahassee, huh? How's everything?
Man, everything is centered around this presidential search, and I have to say I'm extremely proud of the alumni, the students, the faculty, Rattler Nation at large, because we have been, I think, magnificent over these the last 4 or 5 days for sure. We've got 3 candidates that have went. One stands out significantly, and is really he set the bar so high that it's Mr. Hector
Candidate
the,
2 from yesterday.
from UCF, yes,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
and then we had a candidate today that was completely opposite of him, right? Unprepared and
Seemed that way, right?
inexperienced. Yes, yes. So, and Rattler Nation has been making a uh feelings known and been active in the process, and I'm loving it, man. I am absolutely loving it. Yes, Will Packer was here and at the Will Packer Theater Amphitheater, and it's been a lot of coverage, and folks are just they're involved, and that's what we should be. We say we brag different. We have a lot of love and pride in our institution of higher learning, and we have every right to be active and then have a say in how we want to be led and who we want to lead it. So, Rally Nation, love you. You're doing a beautiful job.
Yeah, I echo those sentiments. I'm sure no matter any of you and all of you, I'm sure you are part of various chat groups, whether it be alumni groups, whether it be on X, Instagram, text messaging, Facebook. I'm sure they were very interesting in terms of the comments within your own groups. But as to echo what Kelvin said, most importantly, you heeded the call, you heeded the words of our late president, Dr. Frederick Humphreys, and you showed up. You showed up, and I think you made your voice heard. And I heard some great questions, and I heard some great. It was a really good. It was positive.
Yeah.
You didn't quite know how we would respond. Well, at least there was a small sliver of saying, okay, what are we going to do? How are we going to act? But no, I mean, we were steadfast in our approach, and the alumni were very very solid in what they wanted, and they asked great questions. And I think pray. I mean, that's what we all need to do. We need to pray that our board of trustees listens. That's the key right now. They need to listen.
But continue to communicate, though.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Do the candidate surveys, send the emails, reach out on social media.
Yeah.
Make sure they understand what it is that we advocate for, and that they need to advocate for what we advocate for.
Yeah. Really impressive. And again, we kind of said it last week. We can be adamant about who we want leading our football program, but we need to be twice as vocal as it comes to who we want to lead our university as a whole. And that's what has been the impressive thing. We didn't back down, and we made our voices heard. And so now we've seen 3 of the candidates, and now so here's an interesting question for you. If you're Dr. Paul, you're the in-house candidate. In some circles, people might say you're the favorite. You're the nominee of choice by the national alumni, by the that's going to be interesting. Because you had a chance to kind of hear from the other candidates. So it's kind of one of those interesting positions to see what how he steps forward and what he presents that is deserving of all of the the acknowledgments and the recognition that so many are putting on him. So no pressure, Dr. Paul. No pressure. No pressure.
I really don't think you have to worry about that because he's extremely knowledgeable, experienced, and competent. And I'm pretty sure he'll come as such. He's done all the accreditations. He's done all the academic side. He's on the operational side. He's left. He's come back. So I anticipate he'll be similar or equal to candidate 2, Mr. Hector. So I'm pretty sure he'll represent himself pretty good.
That's amazing. Rattler Nation is something, boy. When we all get on the same page and we're adamant about something, 12,000 and the power of that is significant, So, I'm just gonna take that same energy, and I know it's different, but when we are united on something, there's a way to it's amazing to see. So the fact that we can get 12,000 signatures for this, it leaves you optimistic about other things. We talk about our athletic space, and look, this is an athletic themed show, but we talk FAMU culture as well. And I'm gonna say, man, if we get this kind of energy behind some of what we're seeing on the athletic fields and courts and track, what we can do. What we can do, boy. I tell you what we could do.
Hey, we've got the coaches, man, and the student athletes. We just got to give them more, in terms of resources, whether that be support staff, assistance, strength and conditioning, nutrition, facilities. But yeah, man, we're going to talk about it, man. We're SWAC Tinseltown, man. We're a house of champions here.
House of Champions. That's right. I want to thank everybody for coming in and watching the show tonight, however and wherever you're watching the show. Hello to you watching us on YouTube. Maybe you're watching us on our Jericho Broadcast Network's Black College Sports Network YouTube page at MyJBN Online. Make sure to hit the thumbs up and the like button. You also might be watching us on our O&G StrikeZone YouTube page, where you can always catch interviews, replays, cut up segments, post-game press conferences, all that kind of stuff we run on the O&G. So if you're following us here, you should also be following us there. I know you might say, that's kind of repetitive, but I promise there's some things that we purposely put over on the O&G page because it's specifically for FAMU. You can also be a JBN subscriber, support the Black College Sports Network, be a part of what we do. We appreciate all of the JBN subscribers that are in the chat. You can always leave a super chat. You can also hit the Cash App there that you see at the bottom of the screen. Also helps us put some plans in place, right, Kelvin? We want to try to keep doing some new things into the year, and we got those planning meetings that we have to have as it relates to what we're going to try to accomplish in the 25-26 academic sports year. So we want to go to more places. We want to be where you guys are, and we want to talk to more of our esteemed student athletes, coaches, alums, so on and so forth. So, it takes a little money to do that. So all your support is appreciated, and we thank each and every one of you. Hello to everybody watching on X, watching on Instagram Live, watching on Facebook, all of those great places. We say hello to you as well. Again, coming up at the bottom of the hour, we're going to talk to our men's basketball coach for the first time on the O&G StrikeZone, Heisman Trophy winner and first-round NBA draft pick, Coach Charlie Ward Jr., joining us. And then at the bottom of hour 2, Coach Brittany Beal comes back on the show. So get your questions in. Any questions that you have for Coach or coaches, make sure to star them, and we'll do our best to kind of get to them. But, Kelvin, you know what we like to do. We like to celebrate champions here. So while we have time in the opening segment, I just, we We gotta break it down. We gotta break it down like this. Hold on a second. Let me get it together. Do I got it? Yeah, I got it.
The champion trophy goes to, let's hear it for Florida A&M University.
That's right. What a wonderful week it has been. The last couple of days. I mean, what an amazing month, really. I mean, man, this is the third championship that we have celebrated in the 2025 year as the Florida A&M women's track and field team won the 2025 SWAC Outdoor Track and Field Championships, amassing 127.5 points. It's the program's first SWAC championship since it's a first SWAC championship, obviously, since we joined the conference. It's the first outdoor conference championship since 2018 when we were in the MEAC. It's the 13th team championship overall. And if you're keeping count, let's see. In the SWAC, that's number 11, correct? In the SWAC. It's also number 4 this academic school year. It's also the 201st. We said that. We kind of hinted at that, Kelvin. Didn't we say there was going to be
Absolutely.
201 was loading. So congratulations, they're 201 loaded. And, we've got one more to go. One more championship still floating around out there that is on the line. And so what an amazing year it's been for Coach Garfield Ellenwood, the coaching staff, these ladies. And they did a great job. Let me go through some of the accolades here. Of course, let me fix something here real quick. The 2025 most outstanding women's track performer was freshman Ariana Ladson. This young lady, Kelvin, what a week, or what a 48 hours she had as the freshman from Ellicott City, Maryland. Won first place in the 100 meters hurdles, first place in the long jump, finished second to the fastest woman in the SWAC, her teammate, Nia Blocker, and second to her teammate, Nia Blocker, in the 200. Then she was a part of the 4x100 meter relay team, which won first. And let's keep it real, Kelvin. We probably should have won the 4x400 to close the night.
Wait. Probably? I mean, we smoked the field.
We did. We smoked the field. On a technicality, right. On a technicality, we end up being disqualified despite winning. But that was the cherry on top of the cake. But yeah, Ladson accounted for by my count, 36 points on individual events, 46 as a part of individual and group. So definitely worthy of the most outstanding women's track performer of the tournament. There you can see her right there with the 100 meter hurdles on the podium. Then she won the long jump. I think that was on day 2. And then she was a part, of course, of the 4x100 team, which was and like I said, the 4x4 smoked everybody as well. That's the ladies who are part of the 4x1. And then, of course, we talked about rolling right next to the fastest woman in the SWAC. I mean, shout out to Nia Blocker, friend of the show.
Fastest woman in HBCU, I think.
Is it? Is she?
Yeah, I mean she's like top 30 in the country.
All right. Well, there's the tweet. That 200-meter run of 23.0 second put her 25th in the nation.
Yes, sir.
In Division I. And then, of course, in the 100, she is now 17th in the nation with an 11.24 run. So definitely just kind of the double dip where she's the fastest woman indoors, the fastest woman outdoors.
True sophomore.
Wow. That's amazing. Look at that. Look at that podium. You got a true sophomore and a true freshman.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now. I mean, that's outstanding. Outstanding work. And then we had another first place finisher as well, Caitlin Smith. Caitlin won the 400-meter hurdles. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Caitlin was also part of the 4x4 team that was, again, the fastest team that should have won, but whatever. But anyway, Caitlin, she did her thing. Congratulations to Caitlin. And let me see. We had a couple other ladies. Tatiana Martinez came in third in the women's 400-meter dash to get on the podium. And okay, yeah. So I'll stop for a second.
Yeah. So what stood out to me, Bryan, first and foremost, is this team is built on speed.
Yeah.
If you watch the 200, which just catapulted us from like 4th or 5th place to first, we had like four young ladies in that race.
Yes.
And we finished 1, 2, 5, and 6, maybe.
You're talking about a 200-meter dash.
Yes.
Yeah, 1, 2, 5, and 7. And that was the key, because at that point, I talked about this. We were live on the air on Dr. Cavill's show yesterday. As I was looking at the numbers, because at one point you even brought up we were down 60 points, and they have these nice little projected numbers if you're following the live tracker. So you're like, oh, there's no way, FAMU. But then when you watch when you watch it play out, and then there were two races that stood out to me, was the 200, because as you mentioned, we had 4 runners, and if anybody doesn't know, I think you get points for finishing top 8, anywhere from 10 to 1. You get points if you're in top 8. So we had 4 runners. Alabama State, who was running second, or I think at that point they were in first, they had 2 runners. And then I also noticed this was about 4 races to go, 3 or 4 events to go. The 5,000 meter, Kelvin. That was another one that I looked at where we actually had a young lady in there, Tara Burt, who she had one of the faster times amongst all, and she was all by herself, and there were like 4 Alabama State ladies that were a part of that race. And I was like, if we can somehow dominate the 2 and then place in the 5,000, we're going to win this. And sure enough, Burt finished 4th in the 5,000. And of course, as you mentioned, we finished 1st, 2nd, 5th, and 7th in the 2. We went into the final event, which was the 4x4.
With everything wrapped up.
Yeah, it was an 11-point lead, 11 or 12-point lead. Technically, we didn't even have to race the 4x4, and we had it won. But the fact that we won that race. I don't care what you say.
Well, we smoked it. We didn't just win it. We smoked the field. It's just that because I saw someone ask that I think Blocker's the one that ran the second leg. And on the second leg, the first 100 going around that curve, you have to stay in your lanes. And then once you cross that quarter, that 100, then you can get into the inside lane. And I think she was a few steps too quick in coming to the inside lane, but she was running by herself, so she.
So I mean, that was that was an amazing race. So congrats again to and I think for Coach G, that now is that's the career coaching suite for the women, because we've won an indoor and we've won a cross country.
Correct.
And I think
And just in this cycle, we finished second in cross country.
Okay.
We finished second in indoor, and then we finished
Yep.
first
That's
in
a good
outdoor.
point.
So
Great point. Great point. So congrats to the ladies. I think we'll have Coach G on probably next week. Is what we're trying to do.
Along with some of the student athletes, some of those champions.
Yeah, some of those champions. Let me get over to the men here as we get ready to close this segment because they competed well. I was really impressed with how the men played. Of course, it starts with Kirk Dawkins.
I'm biased. He's the most entertaining person in track for me.
He is.
I sit and wait till that last lap come. I have to see it. I can't miss it, man, because he puts on a show.
Yes, he does. He did it both. Not only running the 800 meter, in a time of 1:50.21, but then he did it in the 1500 in a similar fashion where, he kind of laid back and everybody, let everybody get comfortable, and then the last 2 laps, pew, just gone, just got by everybody. So, outstanding work by Kirk. Some other guys who placed well. Keep your eye on Darian Lawrence, ladies and gentlemen, because Jamarian Stubbs, who was the champion of the 1 and 2,
he's a potential Olympic guy. Stubbs is a absolute beast. He's top 3 in the nation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And right there next to him on both the 100 and 200 stand was Darian Lawrence.
Yep.
Outstanding. I'm trying to see which race. I don't know if I captured this here.
The 100. In the 100, he got started late out of the blocks. He might have been the last person out the blocks, but his top end speed is the same as Stubbs. He just don't have the same start as him. And he walked the field down, man. I didn't know how strong he was, man, but yeah, he's a strong runner.
Was it the 100? Was it the 2 or the 4 where we finished? Where it came? I think it was the 400, which unfortunately I don't have a graphic for. I'm just definitely kind of putting up the recognition for the guys, not only the 4x400 team, but then you saw Leonard Mastari finish 3rd. But and then of course, shout out to Coach G, recognized as the outdoor track coach of the year. So we definitely shout him out.
He's got 3 coach of the years, 1 in every part of track. So he got the cross country coach of the year.
Yeah.
And he has the indoor when they won it last year. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The event that I'm missing was the 400, which the 400 was the one where that was an amazing race that came down to, a nose or a lean at the end. It was a lean. And we finished 3rd in that event. I don't know if hold on, I'm going to quickly pull it up. I know time is tight here. Men's 400. No, maybe it wasn't the 400. What event was it, Kelvin? You know what I'm talking about? Do you know which event I'm talking about?
I do not.
No? Okay. Oh, wait a minute. My bad. It was the 110 meter hurdles. Okay. The men's 110 meter hurdles. Leonard Mastari. I think I just showed the picture of him, if I'm not mistaken.
You did.
Okay. That came down. First place was won by a young man from UAPB, 13.83. And then a 2nd and 3rd tie between Mastari and a young man from Alabama State at 13.85. So
came to the lean.
It came down to the lean.
Yeah.
At the end, what an amazing race that was. So that was that was an awesome race. So we'll talk a little bit more about championships and a great debate on what champions matter. Do you care about the Commissioner's Cup? Do you care about the actual championships won on the field, court, and track. We'll debate that a little bit later in the show. But let's get to our first break, because on the other side, we got our guest coming in for the first time on the O&G StrikeZone. We're going to bring in head coach Charlie Ward Jr. Any questions that you got, put them in the chat. Maybe if we have time, we'll get to them, but we look forward to talking to Coach here in just a second. You're watching the O&G StrikeZone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
Planning an event? From weddings to corporate functions, CMJ Events LLC brings over 15 years of experience to make your vision a reality. Based in Metro Atlanta and serving statewide, even internationally, we provide versatile event planning and authentic catering cuisines tailored to your needs. Whether it's pre-game meals for student athletes, fundraisers, weddings, corporate functions, CMJ Events LLC is your one-stop solution for exceptional service and unforgettable food. Our diverse culinary heritage means we cater to all cultural tastes, dietary needs, and food restrictions, making every meal uniquely yours. Let's make your next event unforgettable. Visit us on all social media at CMJ Events LLC or email us at cmjeventsllc@gmail.com. Also give us a call at 404-664-3882 so that we can start planning now.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do. Bryan, AD, Roy, all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
Welcome back to the O&G StrikeZone. Bryan, Kelvin here. And for the first time on the O&G StrikeZone, it's a pleasure to have on our head ball coach of our men's basketball program, Coach Charlie Ward. Coach, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. I'm hanging in there. lot going on, but enjoying life.
Amen. I got to ask, Coach, Are you sneaking peeks in on this Knicks Boston series? I know as a former Knicks, I just got to imagine you got a TV on somewhere in that room that you're in. You may be sneaking peeks at this series.
Well, actually just came back from a Tallahassee Reckoning soccer match with my wife and daughter, and I was watching or was sneaking a peek. You know what the score was at the time. It was 59-59. So. Not sure what the score is now, but hopefully we can finish it off tonight.
All right. I grew up a Pacer fan, Coach, so I'm gonna just say I'm looking forward to that old Pacers Knicks in the playoffs. It's a special, it's a special series, so I'm looking forward to seeing that series. Yeah. So all right, Coach. So. 2 to 3 weeks or so, a month or so on the job as the head coach of the Florida A&M men's basketball program. What's been the sort of the the reaction? What's it been like now this past month as you've been moving amongst various circles as now you have that new title following your name?
Well, we've been fast paced ahead, working to get the coaches onboarded, which is lifeblood for us right now. But we've been blessed to be able to have two guys sign so far. AJ Bolden and Devere Palmer, two very good basketball players from good families. Oh, actually, Devere's from New York, so that's part of a great blessing because I was there for some time. And also, Anquan Bolden, his son, of course, he's a Seminole legend. So grateful to be able to have him on board as well. And so, we've just been working, recruiting, actually heading out this weekend to Atlanta for a JUCO showcase to try to see how we can continue to put together a roster. And then, check in on a couple of guys that will be coming back next year, Caleb Washington and um, Tyler Shirley.
Okay.
And so just, pushing forward to try to finalize the roster along with all the other things that you need to fundraising and a lot of meetings trying to put together, solid collaboration projects, collectives, and all those different types of things, just so we can have a chance to be successful on the floor. And so a lot of business meetings, trying to tie that end up so that we can, be in the mix of getting the necessary support for the program, along with putting our guys in good opportunities to be in the community and be the face of our program, along with whatever businesses they're affiliated with. So, and then on top of that, we're working to get summer school and summer plans ready for the guys. Summer B is our target, and so we're working right now to try to put a good plan in place. Because once we get here, we're going to have to hit the ground running.
No doubt, no doubt. It's a lot of moving parts. It's funny as I hear you talk about all of those things, Coach. I remember there was something that I recall you saying in your introductory press conference that the program that you were just a part of at Florida High, you structured that in a way that it was running like a college program, and so now here you are at a college program. Did that experience help you as you're in this phase of the things you're doing, or maybe are there some things that you're navigating through which you're learning and say, okay, this is new, this is different? Can you kind of give us a little background of what the transition of that organization has been like, that structure has been like for you?
Yeah. When I was looking to put together a staff, one of the key components was finding coaches that had been in the college ranks and that had a lot of college experience. I hadn't done college. I've been a professional, coach, and I went straight from that field to high school, and so I've skipped that part, and so I surrounded myself with good college coaches. And then, the high school portion, been able to surround myself with a good high school coach as well. And so, things that I don't know, they answer for me, that's what a team is about. I'm not there because I know everything. And I'm not ashamed to say that I don't know everything. And so that's why I put my team together the way I did. And some of the foundational things, as we talked about my high school program, we did a lot of things because we had guys we were prepping to go to college. And so one of the things I've learned is they were like, Coach, I wish I would listen to you a little bit more about the strength and conditioning piece, because we had a strength and conditioning coach while I was there. We had an academic coach as well to help them with study hall and make sure the grades were on point. And then just taking them out of town on trips, preparing them for traveling and then playing and the bonding and all the different types of things, team community outreach. All those things are part of what I learned over my career as an athlete in college and in my professional career. And so just putting all those pieces together for them, and it was we only did it at a foundational level because we didn't have all the resources that a lot of colleges have, but we gave them a foundation of what it's going to look like with structure. And so we practiced. We had times where we practiced during the summer where they had to come and work out, 4 days a week. So giving them just that structure of what it takes to be committed and be the best that they can be, and that's all things that in college, that's what you want guys to be held accountable for getting better. And the only way you can do that is if you're in the gym or you're putting in the time to do those necessary things to get better. And I always told my guys that if you only play one sport, you can't come back the same way, same skill level as you did it the year before, because you have to get better. If you're only playing one sport. Now, if you're playing multiple sports, it's understandable to be at a certain level, skill wise, but that still doesn't mean that you can't make an impact. And so that's one of the things we're going to be harping on is guys just coming back different, and not just basketball wise, but academically, putting themselves in the best situation as well. The summer school, whether it's study hall, whatever it may be, taking ownership of that themselves and continue to grow and develop in all areas of your life.
Nice. Go ahead, Kelvin.
Welcome to the show, Coach. And what I want to ask about your decision to accept the FAMU job, because I heard you mention that you weren't really looking to go to college and coach college at first, and this opportunity came about. So what was it about this particular opportunity at this particular time that was appealing to you to want to make the jump to college?
Yeah, so I mean, all things in life, prepares you for something. Sometimes we don't know what that something is, but I've been actually coaching the last year or year and a half, 2 years with the junior national team for USA basketball, and that was a lot of high level talent there that I was and had opportunity to be able to coach, and some high quality coaches that I was able to glean from as well. And so being at the Nike Hoop Summit, was a great blessing. And, this really came down to, my wife being open to me moving in a different arena because I was really dead set on, finishing at FSUS for one more year and then transitioning to the project that we're doing as a family foundation, the Champions Ranch. And so that was my plan, my goal. But when my wife texted me and said, AD Suggs is going to be giving you a call, be open-minded. And then I saw her, AD Suggs, message about giving me a call. And after the meeting we had, I called in and I kind of put two and two together. And so it was really just one of those deals where, God had prepared me for this opportunity. And I really wasn't looking for it, but he had prepared me. And it was, the opportunity was afforded to me. And it was really the only job that I could see myself taking because one, it was here in town. I wasn't planning on moving. I was here in Tallahassee. And two, FAMU has a big brand. And I know that all the programs that I've been taking over the past, since I've been coaching high school football and basketball, have all been programs that had great foundation, but needed a little bit of elevation. And so I saw this as an opportunity to be able to uh, do this and take it to another level with resources that would be afforded to us, and be able to bring people on board as well to be able to help support us in that respect. And it's my mom and dad and my sister's alma mater. And so I grew up, as you heard, I grew up going to family football games. So it's just, it's funny because I was in my office during graduation, and I heard the alma mater, FAMU's alma mater. And I just remember my mom and dad after the games and football games and basketball games, standing singing the alma mater after the games. And so it kind of hit home that, I remember this song, and then the band always playing the certain march songs. We used to have the albums playing on at the house when we were little kids, dancing and the marching like the marching 100 around the house. And so now I hear the songs, the songs again, and it's like deja vu. And so it's just never thought that I'd be in this situation, but God knew what was next for me, and I'm just grateful that I have this opportunity.
Okay, and as a follow-up, coach, I know you're putting together your staff and your roster, and so how's that going? And then two, while you building this program, ultimately, what do you want this team to look like? What kind of style of play? What kind of recruits you looking to bring in?
Well, our goal, like I said, when I was looking to put the staff together, I needed college coaches, and I was looking at high school, coach as well. And so, I've been blessed to be able to have at least, I'll say, one coach. He's on board. He's onboarded, so I can give his name. But Jared Lazarus, who was at FSU, um, Bill, South Florida, and then he was at Middle Tennessee State as well. And so he's been in the game for some time, and I knew him over the years at FSU doing basketball camps, and also Coach Hamilton's, basically director of basketball ops. And so he's my right hand man, and he's been a great blessing. Just helping me put the team together. Just his work ethic, his loyalty, his commitment to, the guys that we're recruiting, and then his organization. I mean, the dude is he's super organized, which helps me out because I'm more of an idea. I have some things down, I write some things down, but he organizes it all. So it's just a great match. And then we have I have other coaches that will be on board as well. That's all mostly from the FSU tree in some form or fashion. And so, but they've been different places. Just so it's a evolving deal. And as far as the roster is concerned, we're bringing back 5 players from the current roster. Um, Jordan Chapman being one.
Yeah.
And I mentioned Caleb Washington and Ty Shirley, been Leonard Taylor, and then Jermaine Charles. So those 5 guys are coming back, and then we'll be adding, a few more to round out the roster. But people ask me about the style of play. Um, we play to the style of the players that we have. so
Yeah.
but one of the things that I've built over the years as far as the style of play and the mentality is, try to have as many guys on the floor that can score the basketball and function with without the ball, and then having a couple guys that can create double teams, and so that other guys can be prepared and ready to play as well. And so we're not looking to have a 20-point score every night. If it happens, it happens, but that's not the goal. The goal is to be able to have a guy that can get you a bucket when you need it, whether it's on the perimeter or in the post. But try to find someone that can create double teams while having shooters around them, and then just playing the guy's strength. Playing great effort is something that we always want to be our DNA. Defensively, be things that we're going to have to hang our hats on. So we'll work really hard on the defensive end to compete at a high level. Be tough-minded. We'll practice that way. Like sometimes there won't be fouls called just because they may not call them in the game. So you got to be able to finish through contact, and we'll be organized to the point where it looks like we're practicing, and if not, then we'll get it corrected. But the goal is to be competitive.
Yeah.
We want to compete regardless of who we're playing. We want to be able to compete. And so that has to be something, and that's something that we're looking at now when we're bringing guys in. Are they on a winning program? Are they willing to compete, regardless of who they're playing against, whether it's Giants or Grasshoppers? So it doesn't matter, who it is. We got to get in there and prepare ourselves and compete at a high level. Of course, we got to execute in order for us to be successful. But those are the type of guys that we're looking to bring in, and then you have to be selfless. Understand your role, and don't be ashamed of your role, because if you're ashamed of your role, then you're not going to get the best out of yourself. And so I played all different types of roles, as you heard me say. I've been a superstar, I've been the backup, and I've been the guy on the bench. And so we always have to play our role, and we have to prepare for what we want. And I tell guys all the time, they want more shots. Well, are you preparing yourself to get more shots? Because you may be that guy that may get more shots, but right now you're not that guy. So, when you get your opportunity, you have to make the most of it. And so just understanding where you are in your role, and but everyone has to be selfless and play as one unit for sure.
Awesome.
So yeah, I always love being able to learn something from you coaches. I just jotted that down, Kelvin. Do not be ashamed of your role. That's something I got to lean that. I always learn something when we have these interviews with our coaches. I got to take that down to my guys at the high school level. I think Marcus Green is also in the building. Marcus, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Well, I'm glad to be here. Got in a little earlier this time.
Yeah. I'm gonna get you in there. You got a question for Coach? I'll let you get a question in here before I come with something else. You got a question for Coach?
I do. Good evening, Coach Ward. I'm glad for you to join us on the show. I'm glad to meet you.
Thank you. Nice meeting you too, Marcus.
My question, I guess with everything swirling around and you coming from the high school ranks into a college job, have you had a chance to get your feet settled around all the changes going on, not only being a new college coach, but also everything with the house settlement and NIL, and how does that, is it daunting as a first-time coach having to come into that?
Not really. There are some things, and like I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of people that know more than I know, so I lean on them a lot for information. And so sometimes it can be swirling, overwhelming, but that's part of the job. I think, especially whether it's first time or your old hat, There's a lot of things that come at you all the time, and so my mentality is to lean on the people that are there for that understand it and know it, and also learn from them. And so, but I've been prepared for the moment. I've been on quite a few boards, colleges. I've been at the State Athletic Association. I coached professionally, coached in high school, and so I've had a lot of great experiences to understand and know, what leadership looks like. But always learning and growing in this role. But when it's all said and done, you have to take it one day at a time. And as I always say, what you don't get done today, you have to finish tomorrow. And you're have to be grateful that you have tomorrow to finish it. And so, whatever you can't get done one day, you have to try to do it the next day and keep those days. I call them stacking days. And so that is something that we always talk about as a team. Is people say, well, you only have 45 minutes. Well, let's get 45 minutes of good work in. And so those 45 minutes, you keep adding them up, good work, then it turns into what you're looking for. And so you have to use the time that you have, and make the best of it. And so that's what I'm doing each and every day. We're starting to meet more. I still have coaches that aren't on board, so they're zooming in and all those types of things. So whatever it takes to make it happen, we're doing that.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Hey, Coach, from a program perspective, as it relates to not only as you're building the roster and all the other surrounding elements, but the building of your non-conference schedule is always an interesting philosophy at the mid-major level,
Right.
which is where we're at now. What are some of the goals, or really what is your desire to be able to do with your non-conference schedule?
Well, this year we're going to work to try to take a different approach, where we're not playing as many of the bye games as we've seen in the past. So I think we currently have 5, I do believe, just secured USF today, and then we're working to stay within Florida, Georgia. Then we have one trip to Texas, and so we're playing USF, UCF, Georgia Tech, Georgia, and TCU. Those are like the Power 4 teams that we're playing. Then we have Tarleton State, Kennesaw State, and then we'll probably play a team like UWF or Edward Waters. So we're still finalizing those games, and JU. So playing JU twice, and then we're playing in MTE down in Orlando. I think we're playing Tuskegee, and then another HBCU from North Carolina. I'm not sure which one. So it's for us. We wanted to play games that we felt we be competitive. I don't know what our record is, but I want to at least feel like we can be competitive in the games, and we may shock some teams from the Power 4 as well. That's our goal and our mindset. But one of the things we wanted to do was to try to stay as close as possible to our area, to where we didn't have to travel as far, so that we can, save a little bit on the budget, and also be able to do some different travel things in conference. Because to us, being able to travel in conference on a plane as opposed to a bus is very, very important.
Gotcha. And with that schedule, it sounds like it's first off, it sounds like a great schedule for people to be able to get to around, if we said the 4-hour radius of Tallahassee. But what about home games? Because, we have seen seasons where we have seen 0-1 home game. What's your thought, and what are we trying to do? What are you hoping to be able to do in terms of provide some home games in the non-conference so that folks can get a chance to get to know the players, get to see things before it gets hot and heavy in the conference season?
Yeah, that's a good point. We do have a few home games mixed into that schedule that I just talked about in the month of November and December. And so there'll be a few home games. I'm not sure how many, but I do know the Kennesaw State game will be at home, and that's the second game of the year. So we did beat that record from the past, where there were no home games to my knowledge, before November like 22nd or something. So I think we may have another home game mixed in there as well. Maybe two or three more home games mixed in there. So I know there'll be a exhibition game that will be at home.
Good.
So that'll be one thing that we're looking to do, because we understand we want to play home because it's new for us, and we want to get people excited about what we're doing. And we're also looking to potentially have a Midnight Madness as well. Haven't talked to Coach Gordon yet, but hopefully we can do something with the ladies, Midnight Madness, to be able to attract some more bigger crowd as well. Not sure, maybe DJ Demps may want to do something with us. Just throwing that out there, DJ Demps. But it's we just want to create some excitement. We're going to be looking to build a great team, and then create some excitement around the season. We have some guys on the horizon that may raise the bar a little bit for us, coming from Power 4 conference, that's going to help us as well. So we're working to try to put a good product on the floor each and every night with some depth. That's very key for any team. Got to have depth, and so we're working to try to have competitive depth. That if something does happen with the starter, the guy that's coming in can pick up where that guy's left off. And so that's what we're looking to do right now, is build that competitive depth. And we know that when you compete in practice, we heard the term iron sharpening iron. That's what we're looking to do with the roster as well.
Right. All right, go ahead, Kelvin. Give you a chance to get in there.
Coach, I wonder if you had a chance to kind of get a feel or just look at the landscape of the SWAC basketball scene just in general. I know you got people like Coach Mo Williams, who played in the league also, who's at JSU, and there's also a lot of former players who like doing GMs type things now, and that's a new thing that's happening on the scene. Are you looking to do any of that yourself?
Yes, we are. We're digging, trying to make something happen in a lot of areas. So with the GM piece, so that's something we're looking into right now. If we can get what we want, it would be a big splash for us. I'll just say that. And it would be a big hit for our team, our community, to be able to galvanize around. If we can get the GM that we want, which will be great for us. But just being able to partner with that guy that I'm talking about will be a big lift, which we've kind of partnered with him in some form of fashion already. So it will just be a big lift for us when it comes to that part. And then the SWAC is a competitive league with some great coaches. And I think everyone's goal is to win the SWAC, and once you win the SWAC, you get an opportunity to go to the NCAA tournament, and so that's our goal as well. So we're not going. People like probably looking at, well, this is your first year. You come from high school. Your high school coach. I mean, we got to coach. We got to make adjustments. We got to prepare. We got to put a game plan together. All those things. Regardless of what level you're at, if you're a quality coach, you have to put those things together. And over my career, I've had great coaches, and we've done great work, especially at the high school level, as far as basketball is concerned, putting the guys in the right positions to be successful, and then learning from your mistakes. And so, regardless of which level you're at, those things are still the same. We're gonna win some games, we're gonna lose some games, but what do we learn from both scenarios is the key moving forward, and the work that we put in. And so we're gonna do work to do our part. We're trying to elevate our relationships on campus to be able to help support the things that we're trying to do, whether it's strength and conditioning, whether it's data analytics, health wise, nutrition, weight room, all those things we're trying to improve so that we can have a chance to be successful, on the court, off the court, academic support, business relationships, all those things are going to be important for us if we're going to move the needle towards what everybody say they want. And so we just want to be able to do our part and help build those relationships and help put our guys in the best situation to be successful.
All right.
Marcus, let you get the last question in with Coach. You're on mute.
Thank you. Thank you for that. What would you say? And I don't know if it was asked earlier, so I do apologize for being late. In terms of coaching inspiration, which coach has left the biggest imprint on you as far as your coaching style?
Man, I've had so many great coaches. I've taken something from all of them. Start with my dad. My dad was a father figure to his players, along with myself, and so I got a chance to grow up in that type of environment. He's very tough on them and me as well because he coached me. And so I understood, what accountability looks like. Of course, he's old school. And so you had the old school principles, as you mentioned. I mean, he played for Jake Gaither. And so, they were tough. They were tough minded. And they came to work because they were 3 deep at every position. And so if you didn't come to work, you were going to be behind. So he learned discipline, he learned, work ethic, and he taught that to us as well. And I had a coach, my high school football head coach, was a Christian. He loved people. He didn't curse. And so I learned a lot from him. And then, of course, Coach Bowden, his 2 words to me when I became a head coach was be fair and honest. And that's the way he lived his life. That's the way he coached. He allowed his coaches to coach in area, and he kind of oversaw them. And so that's something that I work to try to do is delegate to my coaches, give them areas of responsibilities because they one day they're going to move on to bigger things. I mean, I understand that, and that's what I want to give them those opportunities to be able to grow in the profession. And I had a quarterback coach, Coach Mark Rick. He was a family man. and his family used to come to practice, and got a chance to know him as a family man, along with being a great quality coach. And so that's something that I admired about him is, he was at work a lot, but he allowed his family to be around, and they wanted to be around. And so that's something that I admired about him. I coached. I got coached by Pat Riley, Don Nelson, Jeff Van Gundy, Don Chaney,
Wow.
Greg Popovich, and then I got a chance to work with Coach Jeff Van Gundy with the Houston Rockets, and all those guys, they're minus Nelly. I'll just say that they prepares you really, really well. They're very detail oriented, and you felt going into a game that you were prepared to play. And then, just the work ethic part, doing extra was a part of that whole regime as well. But the thing that I learned from Coach Nelson was he was a point forward type of guy. And so he always wanted to have a point forward. And that's something that if you follow my career, as a high school coach, being able to have a guy that can handle the basketball at that point forward position, it gives you a great advantage because there are a lot of mismatches that you can exploit with small, big pick and rolls to be able to create those mismatches, those matchups that you look for. And so that's something I learned from him, along with being able to watch what's going on in the NBA today. And so when I look back at that tree of coaches that I was influenced by, and I forgot, I learned a lot from Coach Pop, because one of the things he did was he held the best players at a high level. He held them accountable. And so, being in those meetings, watching film, and him getting on Tony Parker and Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili, like they're rookies. That was encouraging to see it. Then them accepting the encouragement from him, and them changing. That was commendable as well, because normally you may not see that. You may see the best players shutting down or going back at the coach, but that was just that relationship they had was commendable. So, those are things that I learned a lot from, and I work to do, and I share with our guys, that I've coached. I'm like, I don't care. You are our best player, but I don't care if you're not doing what you're supposed to do. We're going to encourage you. Like there's no rules bigger than anyone, and I tell them I'm included. Like the head coach is included in that deal. If I do something that's improper, I get relieved from my job, or I get reprimanded. And so, I just let people know that we're here to help everyone grow and be the best that they can be.
Right.
Thank you, Coach.
Great question, Marcus. Hey, real quick from the chats, Coach, our friend of the program, Kenya, says, she said, thank you for pulling Palmer from Jamaica, Queens. The Queens, New York Rattlers got your back, Coach.
Yes, we're gonna have to make a trip up there one of these days.
Well, when you do that, I know Kenya Sykes will be there with the New York Rattlers. They will be there. They will be deep. I know they will.
Yes.
For sure. I guess last thing I want to leave you with, Coach. I'm going to echo what my guy EA said. What can the alumni and the fans do right now, or in the upcoming weeks, months, to support your program?
Well, we have depending upon where you are. I mean, we're going to be coming to some of the major cities, as I talked about, especially playing. We'll be in Dallas Fort Worth area. We're playing TCU, so I know we have a lot of Rattlers there.
Yep.
We'll be in Atlanta area twice, playing Georgia Tech in Georgia. And then we'll be in Orlando and Tampa. Orlando twice. Yeah, Orlando twice and Tampa once. And so being able to support at the games, but also being able to have opportunities for our Rattler alumni to speak with our players on where they are and how they can get to where they are, because they will be alumni one day as well, and we will have opportunities for collectives that we're going to be looking to do, and we'll be raising funds for projects that we're looking to do to help the player experience on campus. And so there are numerous ways to make that happen, along with, as someone mentioned, getting your season tickets. So that would be ideal on how we can support, because one of the things I always tell people is we're going to prepare to win. That's every day, every practice. We're going to prepare to win, and we hope that when we show up on game day, it looks that way. And so, but when it's all said and done, please, I know there'll be a lot of people, if we're not having success or when we're having success, all I ask is for people to encourage us, because we will be working hard to correct whatever mistakes we've made, and we'll also be working hard to correct or improve the things that we do well. And so one of the things I want us to be as Rattlers is understand and know that we're putting our best foot forward. Even the players are doing the same thing. And if you hear people talking about us negatively, please just ask them to pray for us, so that we can do better, instead of just putting our name out there in the streets like we're not working. But so I just want to ask people to encourage us in that way. Pray for us if we're not doing well, and pray for us when we're doing well, and then show up regardless of how things are going, because we need the support at all times.
Absolutely.
Oh, well said. Well said. My guy B Starks already said he got his season tickets, Coach.
Yes,
already
I'll see you there.
Exactly. I know Tamara T be getting her season tickets as well. There'll be a few other folks I know. And look, anything that we can do on our end, Coach. We're gonna be. We sponsored a season ticket package last year. I know we'll try to do that again this year. And anytime that you have something you want to share with the show, feel free to, whether you tag us on X or whether you want to come on the show. You got an open forum right here, Coach. Anytime you want to talk to Rattler Nation, all you got to do is make the call and you're on.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on tonight, and welcome into the family.
Yes, indeed. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Can't wait to see how everything keeps moving, and we're looking forward to talking to you more down the road.
All right, thanks.
All right, thanks for your time tonight, Coach. Be well.
All right.
Oh, wow. Awesome stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Once again, our head ball coach, Coach Charlie Ward Jr. Good stuff. All right, so a couple takeaways. I was jotting notes. I saw Road Dogg asking a couple questions again. Look, we got a little breaking news in this one, man. How about that? Coach dropped some nuggets on the schedule.
Yeah.
USF, UCF. So that's that Central Florida, Orlando, Tampa area. And then Georgia and Georgia Tech. So that's might be happening within probably a 2-day window. Probably you get somebody on a Thursday, somebody on a Saturday, or some combination like that maybe.
Yeah, and we went out to Tarleton last year, so I'm pretty sure Tarleton will probably be one of the home games. And he did mention JU twice, so that's probably a home and home. We play them down in Jacksonville. They play us here.
I think he said Kennesaw State possibly coming home.
Right. Well, he said definitely that they were going to be a home game.
I'm curious about that. He mentioned that HBCU event. I'm going to have to do some digging on what that is in Orlando.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do some digging. I'm going to have to find out what that is, and maybe we'll have to report next week, with more details on what that event is, featuring Tuskegee, somebody from out of the North Carolina. I have to do some digging. I'm going to ask some questions. I have an answer maybe by next week.
I am so excited to hear the philosophy of the schedule. I have been advocating for this for the longest, man. Give the team an opportunity to be in front of their home crowd out of conference, build up some confidence playing teams that you definitely can be competitive with and win. Get some W's on the board and get the fan base, the students, the alumni excited. It's tough to get excited when you play you playing 10 power fours and you coming out of conference 1-9. It's just tough.
It is. And it's a change in the philosophy. Also, if you think about it as far as budgeting, because we know why we've had to play those 8 or 9 power 4 or 5 teams. I mean, because you're trying to build your budget. Well, if you're getting money from other places, right? Okay, now we don't have to play 8. We can go play the 5.
Right.
And then, like you said, now you can mix in some other games, which open up the door for some home games, some mid-major matches that might be a little more competitive. But like I said, I know, Coach, we're going into every game trying to win.
Right.
But, we understand what it is. I mean, in some of those games. I'm interested to see that little tease Coach dropped about
GM.
The GM thing. Hey, in the chat room right now,
I have an idea.
Wrong answers only. Who do you all think Coach is going after to be the GM? Wrong answers only. And I saw someone mention Shaq. Let's just say Shaq is already committed to Sacramento State, where his old teammate Mike Bibby and now his son is. So we can cross Shaq off the list. So I don't know. That's interesting. That's interesting.
Very interesting. Consider what kind. Wait a minute. I think I got the hat on.
What you got on? What is that?
Yep, that's what I was thinking too. Yeah, he said we already have a relationship with him, kind of, sort of.
I'm just telling you. I dream big.
Hey, look. Vince Carter. I don't know. I don't know about that one. I have little baby. I have no idea where that one just came from. That's
oh my gosh,
little baby, like Sean Kemp. Really? Where is he at these days? Okay. Hey, now that's an interesting one. Might be a different James that you saw there. Now
LeBron.
Hey, unless LeBron is retiring this year, that might be kind of difficult. Can you be a GM at a college level and still be playing professionally? That's interesting.
Yeah, I'll send you this article. There's at least 2 or 3 current players who are young who are GMs. Really? Trae Young is the GM at Oklahoma. What's the other guy?
I know Terrence, that. Wow. Okay.
Terrence, I can't think of his name. He just graduated from Louisville a couple years ago. Terrence something. He plays for the Hawks as well. And I thought Steph Curry was being a GM for Davidson.
Wow.
So there's like 3 or 4 active players who are Terrence Knight. Is it Terrence Knight that plays for the Hawks? He's doing it for Louisville. So there's like 3 or 4 current players who are, I don't know if you call it volunteering. I don't know what you're calling
players being that's interesting. That's interesting. Well,
and if things come through, and I've been working on it and trying to get a commitment, but we may have the person I've been trying to get on who's non-FAMU related, but he's taking a role as a GM at a Power 4 conference. But
there you go. There's an interesting
probe his brain and have him give us some information if he's available.
I don't know. We can check the private chat.
I just saw that. See, little baby, you're just throwing names out now. You're just throwing names.
Okay.
See, Gerald said that's who you might be thinking of.
No. Yes.
You're thinking who? Allen Houston? You guys are just throwing out old Nick teammates of Charlie Ward's old teammates. That's what you guys are doing right now. I see what you guys are doing. You're just going through the roster and checking, just throwing names out. But I love it. I'm all for it.
Hey,
I'm all for it.
Kylan wins. Kylan wins.
I'm not putting that up there. Yes, Kylan wins. It's time to go to commercial. Kylan, you're a fool.
We be getting a lot of recruits then.
Yeah, you're a fool. You're a fool, boy. Good Lord. All right. So good stuff. Hey, let's get ready to take our next break, second break of the show, and come back and let's talk to Coach Brittany Beal on the other side as the team is back home and we kind of do a little post-tournament recap on a long week. But what an outstanding week it was. Came up a game short, but I still wouldn't. I mean, a great experience. We saw a lot of heart, and we saw some amazing softball, some exciting games. So we'll talk to Coach about all that we saw and heard over the past week. Right on the other side of this break, you're watching the O&G StrikeZone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids' apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
When it comes to professional learning, teachers deserve better. From the leader in online learning, Stride brings you the Stride Professional Development Center, an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that gives teachers choice and flexibility, allowing them to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. It's time you take charge of your learning. Visit us today to get started.
Welcome back to the O&G StrikeZone. Bryan, Kelvin, Marcus, and joining us is our head coach of our softball program, Coach Brittany Beal. Coach, welcome back on the show. Congratulations on an outstanding run. Wow, what an amazing season it was. And I mean, obviously there were so many. I mean, that highlight that we played coming in was just one of, I don't know what, four walk-off moments during the course of what seemed like a long week. I lost count of days. I mean, what was it? What was the experience just overall, Coach? I mean, did you lose count of days and just almost started building a residence in Gulfport? I mean, what was it like out there?
Well, yeah, you know, with the rain delay, that one game or the one day, I was like, man, it feels like we've been here forever. But the hotel was great. It was very homely, so we felt like we were, you know, they took care of us. We had our separate little own room for breakfast and for film, so it was nice to have those accommodations. So it was long, but it was worth it. It was worth all of it.
So I mean, the one impression that I have, and I don't know if a lot of people saw it, and I'd love for you to share your thoughts at the end of the game. While you're seeing our opponents celebrate, I look into right field in the background of all that, and I see you out there in right field, and I saw that, and I'm just thinking to myself, I know that feeling. I know. I bet coaches I couldn't tell whether you were looking at them or kind of looking towards the outfield, just kind of processing everything. Can you share what you were experiencing, what you were feeling, just maybe in that moment while you were out there, kind of in right field as everything was over?
As a coach, you know, you have to process your feelings as well. So I just needed a time for myself, and I was visualizing them celebrate. And I think that, you know, as a coach, you start to think about all the things that went on in the game. And, you know, one of those things is shoulda, coulda, woulda, you know, just for your coach's, you know, guilt, I guess, your heart. But I wanted to make sure that I took it in as a coach too, to see how it felt, to see how I don't want to feel next year, but just to kind of take in the moment. So before the game and before all the games of the SWAC tournament, you know, I had a deep conversation with my outfielders, because that's primarily who I do deal with on defense, and just about how, you know, whatever's written is already written. And we just have to make sure that we put our best foot forward. And at the end of the day, of course, right after the game, you know, I was upset because I wanted it so bad for those seniors and wanted it so bad for the team in general, because they worked their tails off all season long. From not having a coach, you know, to coming in October, me coming in, shaking things up for them. And I think just taking myself out of that, I think that deep down inside, I wanted it bad for them. And I know that we're going to get there again for next year. But it's all about a process. And then when I start thinking about, you know, the seasons, and I start thinking about the wins and coming out loser brackets, I was like, there's nothing that we should hang our head, you know, down for. The girls worked extremely hard, and they did everything that we could have ever asked for them this season.
It's kind of where what I thought there. Good to know that. Go ahead, Kelvin. Go ahead.
Coach, I gotta ask some questions, because I watch every game, and I'm confused. Maybe I had it wrong. Explain to me, one, the rule where they called the run out. I think it was Spooner, when the young lady hit the ball, the pitcher hit the ball, they changed the trajectory, and they called her out. Was that correct?
In my opinion, I say it was incorrect. But they tried to tell me that she was going for the ball. And I'm like, well, the ball was deflected and she had no play. I mean,
correct.
She was not, I mean, and Alana Scott, she's a great shortstop. She's actually one of the ones I picked for the conference award. She's great shortstop. I'm not taking anything from her. But she would have never got that ball. Got that ball, because it was ricocheted off. And there's some things that I think happened within all the games where they could have been like, you know, but at the same time, I felt like I kind of challenged, you know, the umpires a little bit to kind of make those calls. And as an umpire, I get it. You know, you make a call, then you have to stand on that call. But that's why you have 3 other people. And that's also why you have you know, the headset where we can read reviews. So that's what they told me, and you know, me being the new fish in the pond. You know, I can push, but you know, there's only so much I can do. You know, being new in the SWAC.
Okay, my next question: did they give you a warning? And what did they give you a warning for?
Well, because I wanted to, I was upset because I was like, I can get aggressive, but I wasn't disrespectful. I wasn't loud. I came to him because when I call time and people make or umpires make calls, I like to know just so for knowledge reasons too. So I want to understand so that if that brings it up again, I know how to navigate me as a coach standing up for my, team of what I think is wrong or right, as any coach would. So I think it got to the point where it felt like I was being rushed. You know what I mean? Like go, 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 go. But I'm like, no, like I need to understand so then I can go back to my team and I can tell them the reasons why. But he said he had to give it to me because people were watching. So I mean, I just kind of walked away and I just said, okay, But I mean, at the end of the day, I take umpiring is hard, and I did speak with the head umpire and we talked and we had a long conversation about just the way that maybe some umpires, every umpire is different and they like certain things a certain way, which I respect that. There's nothing that I would do disrespectful to an umpire. But again, I like to know. I like to know the reasoning why this and that. And some umpires will explain this is the reason why. And I appreciate that. And some umpires, they don't. So.
Okay.
That's
so I got one other question. Then I let Marcus get in. Trying to come out of the losers bracket. That's a lot of games. I think we ended up playing 7 versus JSU that only had to play like 4. As a 1 seed, I made a suggestion. Maybe I know in the ACC tournament they do it where the top seeds get buys the first day or something like that. Is that something? Are you looking at that now that you've experienced the tournament, and are you looking to give some input on some potential improvements?
Yeah, and the number, I think it really starts back to with the regular season, because we saw Alabama State. That was our 7th game with them. No, we played 8 games with them because you're gonna remember home and away 3 times each. We saw them that second day, and then we saw them that that Friday, Saturday, Thursday, whatever game that was. All the games kind of blurred together, but seeing them 7 and 8 times, that's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, Jackson, that would have been a total of 5 times we saw them. Bethune, it was the same way. So to me, I would love to oppose, kind of following the format that baseball has, of where you would play, a series and then you would move on, not a home and away. And I get it. It comes down to financials at the end of the day. But then you look at the tournament, and I mean, this season, the East, we ran the table. I mean, the East was so competitive. I mean, every time we stepped on the field with Bethune, every time we stepped on the field with Alabama State and A&M, I mean, they did a great job too. I know their record didn't show, but A&M did a great job this season. And then Jackson State. So, having us be able to kind of venture out, to the West and have the West venture out to us, I think overall that would help our SWAC conference, to be able to compete for that regional, that regional game.
Agreed. All right, Marcus.
Go ahead, Marcus.
Good evening, Coach. Thank you for joining us. I guess I have a twofold question.
Okay.
One, being a Braves fan, I don't know if you're a Braves fan growing up. But,
Houston Astros.
Okay. But just the playoffs and I mentioned this, I sent a text to the guys about the playoffs in the 90s, even recently, all these like games that come down to the wire or walk-offs or really tight games. I want to ask, I guess, how do you manage through those games in those tight moments, and how do you think the players reacted or performed during those tight games?
I think because we had some of those walk-offs throughout the season. So to me, I knew we were resilient. And that's why, like, if if CC were to get that full, or Sierra, if she were to get that full at bat, the outcome, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You got Naraya at first first and second, whatever. And then you got somebody at third, a base hit can tie the game, So I think we tried to put them in uncomfortable situations in practice. And then, throughout the season, Bethune, I think it happened Bethune. It happened in, what else did it happen in? It happened in a few other games where we showed that fight and that grit. And I mean, 1 through 9, I would take my 1 through 9, any day. And because we've had it throughout the season where the top part of the lineup, was rocking and rolling. Then sometimes we had the middle part of the lineup was rocking and rolling. Then we had the latter part of the lineup that was rocking and rolling. So it was just one of those things where I think we showed the fight when it needed to show the fight. I think we did leave a lot of runners on base this, in the tournament. And, I didn't want to put too much pressure on them because the stage was already a pressure enough. And I wanted us to be just to keep to do the things that we were doing throughout the season. But people don't understand, like, this is everybody's championship. Everybody's going out there to win at the end of the day. So, it's not just a series. Oh, we'll get it back next game, or, people are going to play. It's the same thing with Grambling. Grambling, I mean, they played the game of their life. Like that game was good. And I had to give it to them. So I just think that throughout the season, we showed glimpses of that resilience and we were able to fight. And it just didn't have to happen from one person. Everybody, at the most part, was put in those pressure situations where they had to manufacture runs. Sorry, I went a little longer.
Okay. No. And I guess a second question is kind of related. Could you elaborate a little bit on how you saw the growth from the freshman players who got a lot of playing time and tournament experience and how they reacted to their first SWAC tournament?
Yeah, I mean, Jamison Townsend, she was one of those ones that came in, and when I first got there, she was playing a little bit of second, infield and outfield, and I just kind of moved her to the outfield. I remember seeing her. We played against her in high school, so I saw her play shortstop a little bit, but I knew we needed a need in the outfield. I knew she had a bat. Who has the same thing, Sierra Maple. She came from Eustis. I mean, she led the team in batting average. She started off a little slow, but when we got to SWAC, she started to pick it up. And it wasn't the long ball. She was just manufacturing, base hits up the middle, ground balls, and using her speed. So I just think, those two freshmen and then Braxton Battle, she did a great job at the plate as well. So having them kind of intertwine, I think they handled it well. I think they know what to expect for next tournament. And so I'm excited for the growth in them, just to be able to see, the SWAC is different. And you got your rowdy fans, you got your rowdy dugout, you got your umpires, you got the coaches. So I think they handled it very well, but it also comes from the leadership of our seniors and our upperclassmen too. They were able to control them, meaning just calm them down, talk to them, and talk them up. I know Brianna Duggins, she did a great job of that. And we also had Kiana Watson, and they were very vocally with just being there for their teammates. So that helped our freshmen kind of try to, minimize that pressure and just to perform.
Okay, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Coach, the chat rooms are heavy. Lots of good questions in there. Okay, so one of the questions, and it's kind of a philosophy question regarding pitchers. You stated, and we've seen it, we all believe it, you got 3 number ones. You got 3 quality pitchers in Zoe, Samantha, and Amari. Walk us through your decisions, and I'm not telling you anything was wrong, but it's a tough choice. What went into making the decision of going with Zoriana when you did, going with Amari against Jackson State in the second game of Saturday, and then coming on Sunday going back to Amari?
So we set the pitchers down and we talked to them collectively. And so we wanted to hear how they felt, because I know sometimes as coaches, we can, dictate a lot of things. And at the end of the day, these are young adults. And they know their bodies. They know their teammates. They know their opponents. So just having that collaboration amongst the coaches and the pitchers, we all just kind of came. Amari she threw a great game. She threw a one-hitter the first game. Even when we went there, she also threw I think they only got like 2 hits when we played at Jackson. So out of the pitchers, she was the most successful with her pitches. I mean, it's still in the championship game. She still did a great job. That little blooper over second base. I think the number one batter on Jackson was the only one that hit the deep ball. Jace Jackson, I think she got a single up the middle, but she did a great job. Zoe and Sam were in the bullpen warming up, and they were going to be, they were ready. But I mean, in that moment and playing them, I felt like, Amari, we felt like Amari was that go-to person. And then the Alabama State game, Zoe did a great job. And, again, we sat down with the pitchers and we talked about it. And it was a collective, a collective decision from all of us, the coaches, and then obviously the players, or the pitchers rather.
And let me ask this, because I know, which is one of the things that we have, those of us who follow baseball, we have to change our minds. And I love, I know Iria Young's in there. Whenever I got softball questions, I know I can go to Iria real quick because, we have to change a lot of us who are not softball diehards. We're becoming those of us who are, we understand that pitchers can pitch multiple games. And we've heard the story, there was a young lady who pitched, won a title and pitched every game in the SWAC tournament. But as you try to build your roster, do you want to go in? This was the scenario. You wanted to be able to have these kind of options, or would you like to, I don't know if I'm saying this right, would you like to have less options? I don't know if that sounds right.
You never want to have less.
Okay. So I mean, being able to have 3 is good or more.
Yeah, and it depends on the pitcher too. Sometimes softball is totally different, like you said, from baseball. Where you could throw every game, like the girl from Bethune, Alyssa Lopez. She threw every game at the SWAC tournament. I mean, she was giving her all. And I just think it depends on the pitcher. Zoe is kind of she's a east and west, north, up, and then Amari's and Sam a little. They're down ball pitchers. But having, somebody that maybe replicate, Zoe, or maybe having somebody that's a junk ball pitcher. So having a variety of a pitching staff, because again, some teams go through 4 pitchers a game just to change up the eyes of the batter, just to give them something different. So having just 3, we just happen to have the best 3. But again, making sure, and that's something that we've been talking about, and the transfer portal opens on Monday, and just kind of seeing like how can we help them, because they need help, because I want them to be at their best, and being at their best, it doesn't necessarily mean pitching every single game, but again, being at their best so they can confidently own and command the pitches. And so I think Amari, Sam, and Zoe, they did an incredible job. I mean, I cannot speak more about them than any of their competitors. And I praise them all the time on how hard they work. There were sometimes in the middle of the season where we started to walk people, and walks kind of hurt us, throughout, but for the most part, they had the defense to back them up. So I think, to go back to your question, adding 1 to 2 more people to collectively make a solid pitching staff, I think is going to benefit us. Because again, you just never know what could happen. Somebody could not be on, and that happened this year where Zoe wasn't on, but Sam was able to come in and do the job. Amari wasn't on, but Zoe was able to come and do the job. So they both fed off each other very well, and they were selfless, very humble about it. So I mean, that made it good.
Was this? I know Zoriana and Amari have eligibility left. Was this it for Sam?
I don't think so. Yeah, we have our exit meetings. We have our exit meetings coming up. Sam falls underneath that. She spent 2 years at JUCO, 2 years at Division I, so she does have another year. But we have to have a discussion about it. But hopefully, yes. But again, that's up to discussion for the coaches and us to decide, and obviously her as well. So. Yeah. Sam is a competitor. She's gritty. She's grime. She's a good softball player. So I'm excited for her to see what she's going to do next year as well.
Right. Okay, good to know. Shout out
Bryan,
to
you stole
Sierra
my
Maple.
question.
I'm sorry, Marcus. I'm sorry. I knew you had it figured out. Let me give a quick shout out to Sierra Maple in the chat, watching us on Facebook. Shout out. Cherish Pyle also says, "Hey, Coach, here in Eustis." So you got got some people definitely. I had another question, guys, but go ahead, either Marcus or Kelvin. If I don't steal another one from Marcus, what you got?
Okay, I'm gonna steal one from Marcus. Coach, so I'm gonna combine this question because what was your response and what is your thoughts as well as the team's thoughts on not having anybody named first team swag?
I almost got in the car, Coach. I almost got in the car.
My face should say it all. And I just think it's something that, even the East in general, it's hard. It's hard. Yeah. And I think for one, Zoe and Key did a great job. I mean, they got second team. I think the one that Mari should have definitely got something.
Yeah.
And I don't understand. Like I said, it is what it is. And I just tried to make sure I told him, I said, listen, don't let this define who you are as a person and who we are as a team.
Right.
Let's just go out here. We got to play the game, and an award or accolade doesn't define or validate who you are. So I just try to turn it in a positive way. It is what it is. We know, who got to the championship. We know who won the championship, of course. But definitely we did have a discussion, and I had to kind of bring them back down because they were hot. When we got on that bus, they were hot. And so I just kind of try to reiterate, the importance of why we were here at the SWAC tournament. We were there to compete, and I thought we did a great job of competing.
Did an awesome job, and I'm gonna follow it up, Coach. How's the camaraderie with coaches? There was a certain statement that was made after that championship game, and I'm just leave it open to your reaction.
Let's just say a conversation was had. Okay. And it wasn't disrespectful or anything. It was just more of that, like, hey, make sure that we understand that we all represent the SWAC.
Right.
And just as much as I wanted to win the game, Jackson State is going to represent the SWAC, and I want them to do well. I want them to do well because, again, that's a representation of us. So, when people say comments, and I understand when you get in the heat of the game, like, hey, I want to win, you want to win, like, we're not buddies on the field because it's a ball game. But when we do things that can be seen for the world to see,
right,
that's when we kind of take it, we take it over. We shouldn't do that. We just shouldn't do that. And, I ain't gonna lie, I kind of got in my feelings a little bit because I knew what, and not to take it away from, Coach P, because like I said, her and I had a conversation after, the game between us, and I thank for the opportunity, for the position, and she said, go get him, so, but I just think that in those moments, celebrate with your team. I beat them. I did this, and move on. That's it.
Yes.
So
agreed. All right, and last thing, talk about your camps. I know you got camps coming up. Talk about your camps and how people can support them.
Yeah, so we'll have a prospect camp in June, on June 12th. So we're looking for, starting for our juniors, our sophomores, and our freshmen prospect camp. We're going to run that from 9 to 5 with the offensive part and obviously a defensive part. And then we have a youth camp for our littles. And then obviously we'll have a skills camp for the youth, meaning ages, middle school 6 through 8. So we, in the fall and early spring, we had very good turnouts for camps. I mean, we probably had about 70 people for our prospect camps. So I try to make sure that we run a good camp so people can come back. And I think we did a great job for the fall and the spring. So I'm eager to see how many people sign up. And so we can see some future Rattlers. And then obviously just teach the game of softball to our younger kids.
Mm-hmm. And actually, Coach, as a follow-up to that, For the class of, I guess it's 2025, I noticed that we've gotten 5 signees, at least, that I've seen on social media. Have you gotten fruit or any of those signees fruit from your camps? And since they've signed, can you speak on any of the ones that you wish to speak upon?
So Erin Polite, she just actually hit a walk-off home run against the number
one team
or number one team in the nation, Katy, Texas.
Yeah.
So I actually saw Erin at when I coached Team Africa. So I know that was just one of the good things that I was able to kind of see her play multiple games. And when softball is a little different, when you go to a tournament and scout, you can go to a field that has, 100 teams, and you're trying to figure out, like, how can I find one person out of all these teams there? So I think the girls that I, signed very early on are people that I've kind of had seen over the course of maybe a few years. Amaya Ramos, I've seen her play for the last 4 years. So, it's to my benefit to kind of see their highs and their lows of how they perform and how they react. And same thing with Natalie. I've seen her play as well. So we already have 2 girls committed as well. So I think we're going to be announcing them hopefully soon. Everything is cleared with them. So we'll be announcing them as well. And then, of course, we're looking to add a few JUCO girls as well. So I think just having them come and add their expertise and their hunger and their fight to win with what we have, those comments that were made after the game, it's going to be a lot different next year. So I'm excited to see the hard work that they're going to put in the fall to get back to where we were.
Okay, well, thank you. And also, as a humble request, that for any of the signees or even the commitments, if they put a post on social media, if you wouldn't mind tagging O&G StrikeZone so we can promote it, even if it's not signed yet, even if they just commit.
Okay.
If they can just put our tag in, that would be.
I think somebody did that. I think Sakaya, she did that. We just haven't, got her post on, but I think she ended up having her signing ceremony, and then you guys will be hearing from Jordan Douglas. She's at a JUCO out of Alabama. She won Player of the Year, and she hit, I think, over 20 home runs this year. So we're excited to have her be a part. She just kind of got cleared today as well. So we're excited for those additions. So yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Coach, let me ask you. Let me hit you with one final question regarding something that became real popular in the SWAC tournament, and that's challenging calls. I know last year Coach B, she challenged some, but I think you doubled up whatever she challenged last year. So it brings me to the question about the philosophy on challenging, and is that something you would like to see more of in the regular season? Because it's something that we don't have. And it, so it's kind of, when you see so much of it, it's kind of like, okay, where does this come from? But if you would give us your thoughts there on your philosophy with challenging and just, is that something you'd like to see in the regular season?
My personality and the way that I like to coach, and just, right is right, is wrong is wrong. Whether I'm right or they're wrong, right is right, is wrong is wrong. And as an umpire, you're going to miss some calls, but when you get to the point where this is serious, because your season can be ending at that very moment. So we just got to do better. I don't know how to say that any more than what it is. We just got to do better. So I wanted to make sure that and I know, the commentators saying, Brittany Beal, she's calling timeout again. Well, I wanted to make sure that my players had a plan. Like, we knew what was going to happen. So I think that, maybe if I wouldn't have challenged so much, maybe Shaky wouldn't have challenged at the end, but he had nothing to lose, right. At that moment, he had nothing to lose, whether she was safe or out, he had nothing to lose. So I think just being intentional about what we're doing, and just making sure that we're keeping our eyes and ears, open to seeing what goes on in the play field. So, I mean, if we're the umpires' helpers, I guess you could say, but like I went back to that, I want to know the reasoning behind every call. So again, I know how to handle it later on. So if I get two, I'm going to try to use all two. So I think it should definitely be done in the regular season because, it needs to be. And I don't know how the SWAC is, going to do that. But at the same time, I don't know why we're not, broadcasting our games on, a SWAC network. Because I had a lot of people just saying, "Hey, I wish I could have, followed you guys along in the season." And two, people got excited. I mean, people got excited that they
was great.
See. So I think something like that would not just benefit us at FAMU, but it will benefit everybody across the board. To show that the SWAC, we can play competitive ball just as the Power Fives or Power Fours, but we got to show the world that we can't just, sit back and play a game, but we have to show the world that and make girls excited about to go to HBCU because they can see it. I mean, we live in a society where people want to see things. They don't want to see you typing things. They want to see it. So I think it, like I said, it could benefit the SWAC in general.
Agree 1,000% with you, Coach. We're right there with you. And so, I know that's one thing. That's the technology part is the challenging part for the entire conference. Well, because every school is different. Every school has its own individual setup. And so, yeah, I know it's, but hey, hopefully coaches like yourself will pound the table and, you keep talking. And they're listening. They're just trying to figure out how to make it happen. So
yes.
All right. Well, Coach, you've been gracious with your time this evening. Thank you. Thank you for everything. And again,
great reason.
Yeah, I mean, just like in your post, you give up a lot, you sacrifice a lot, time away from your family. But what an amazing season! What an amazing run! And I mean, we're more excited than every season, every year, our excitement builds with FAMU softball. And so we gotta get some of that fresh gear, Coach. You got some good T-shirts going on. We gotta get some shirts so that we can some rock out some swag, some softball swag on the show. So
hopefully y'all be at every home game next year.
That's the goal. We're working on it. I tell you what, I'd like to do something, and I'm putting this out with Kelvin because he's our Tallahassee resident. I'd like to do something where we get in that outfield, Kelvin. Maybe we do a show from the outfield, kind of get some other folks to come out and join us in the outfield and, just kind of do it up big in the outfield. I don't know. I'm just spitballing ideas right now.
Yeah, Angie or 80 Suggs, she had a good idea, but trying to replicate what they have at Florida, where it's kind of like a VIP kind of section where you get a up close view and put some lawn chairs out there and do those things. So maybe that's something that we can definitely do for a big rivalry game to have you guys out there. So I would love to do that.
Absolutely.
I would love to be there.
Yeah.
We're there, Coach. You ain't gonna say nothing. We'll be there. We'll make it happen.
I appreciate you guys.
All right, Coach. Hey, again, make sure you check out. Hold on, I had it up here again. Where's the graphic? Make sure you check out. Spread the word on the softball camps. BOSoftballcamps.com. All of the dates you can find there. Prospect Camp June 12th for grades 10 to 12. The Rattler All Skills Camp is on June 16th for grades 7 to 9. And then the Youth Camp is also on June 16th for grades 1 through 6. So if you know a softball player, it's a great time to get them down to Tallahassee, get them up to Tallahassee, whichever direction you're coming from. Expose them not only to FAMU softball, but the campus in general. The campus is always beautiful in June. It's a great opportunity to get down to Tallahassee, check out the campus, and all that. So
SWAC East champions,
2 times going for
get coached by champions.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Coach Beal's Lady Rattlers, just in case someone didn't know that. All right, I'm done. I'm done.
Stop it.
All right, I know. I'm sorry. I can be messy and petty at the same time, Coach.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Hey, Coach, thank you. We love you. We appreciate you.
Thank you guys all so much for your support. I appreciate everything.
We'll talk soon. Take care.
Have a great evening.
Bye. All right. Good stuff. Always enjoy talking to Coach. Good stuff. I think we got it all in there. We hit all of the good questions.
Yeah.
All of the good stuff. We found out about it all, man. I tell you, man. This is interesting, and I want to show this because this is the debate, right? This, obviously. Now, I didn't put this out there, so a lot of times people think that I do stuff, but no, this was actually Josh Padilla who put this out. So I'm gonna put Josh under the bus. Josh put out the SWAC championship roll call tally, right? No, these are championships. End of the year, not the regular season, right? Championships.
Conference
championships.
Which conference tournament championships.
Better way of saying it. Conference tournament, not regular season. Notice FAMU sitting at 4 ahead of, a few other schools that we know. And then so the debate is conference championships or Commissioner's Cup. What do you want more of? Obviously, we understand the Commissioner's Cup is a thing where it takes the points of how you finish in the regular season, plus what you do at the end of the season. All of that gets thrown into the mix. It also matters that Alabama State has how many sports, how many varsity programs? Like 16 or 18, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
We only have 14, so the opportunities to win are less. What do you care more about, conference championships or Commissioner's Cup, guys?
Well, I will, I'm greedy. I'm a rat. I want to win everything, right?
Of course.
So but
mathematically, though, I don't know. It might be challenging for us to ever really.
It will be when we don't participate in all sports. But if we ever get basketball back, once we get basketball back to that level, and we saw some signs of it this season, then we'll be right in the midst. Because honestly, the women's sports specifically and the spring sports have always been competitive in the MEAC and the SWAC. And of course, football, has gotten back and been consistent over the last 4 or 5 years. But championships, you get rings. You don't get rings for the Commissioner's Cup.
Not that I'm aware of. I don't know.
You get rings. You get rings for those championships. So I like, because as coach, both coaches who's on today, and they talk about it, all the work that goes behind trying to build a successful team. And a winning, we talk about it. Winning's not easy, and all the time they put in, the coaches, the players, the weight training, the practices, going to class and trying to balance, being a student, and it's a lot, man. So I love it, and I feel great because they're doing it to win championships and get those rings. So when they finish the season after doing all those sacrifices, and win the ultimate team championship, that excites me as a former administrator and as a competitor and player, man. Nothing like winning your sport.
Good question by Zach. How many? Let's see. I know, for example, the sports that we don't have that Alabama State has would start with men's tennis.
So on the women's side,
soccer.
Yeah, on the women's side, we don't have soccer. On the men's side, we don't have cross country, track. We don't have tennis.
That's 3. I think everything else we have.
I think everything else we have, right?
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, they ended up winning one of those 5 was in tennis. Oh, we don't have men's golf, which was another one.
No, we don't have women's golf.
I'm sorry. Yeah, women's golf, which is I think they won women's golf.
Right.
So they got 2. So Alabama State got 2 titles in sports that we don't even have right now. So yeah. So I think they're
So our degree of difficulty is a lot more challenging with the Commissioner's Cup because we don't offer all the sports.
Right. Marcus, any take there on the championships versus Commissioner's Cup debate?
Yeah, I'm like Kelvin. I like them both, but we're at a disadvantage by not sponsoring all the conference sponsored sports. So it'd be a challenge. I mean, you have to pretty much win out on the majority of the sports. You're coming first and second in all the sports in order to accumulate enough points to compensate for the missing ones. But I mean, looking at the regular season titles, especially when you get an NCAA berth, I mean, I don't know if you can I guess you can put a dollar value on it, but you get to compete against other Division I teams, and in some instances actually get on TV or get to promote your program via that. So, I mean, it's good to have both, but I would lean towards the championships where you play against other Division I counterparts and potentially having promotion of your program versus in a postseason competition.
And there is a financial aspect to the Commissioner's Cup too. Winning the Commissioner's Cup, I forgot exactly what the amount is, maybe 25,000 or something, but there's a financial aspect to winning the Commissioner's Cup. So for those reasons too.
What is the easier ad? Kenya asked this, Kelvin. Is cross country the easiest to add, men's cross country?
Well, just real quick. Golf? Hey, real quick, so not to nerd out. Yeah. Because it depends on your makeup of your student body because of Title 9 and all that kind of stuff. So we would definitely have to add women's sports first because I think the right now the female makeup of the student body at the university is like 65 or 67%. It's pretty high. So the easiest sports for us to add would be women's golf, absolutely, and women's soccer, and then, but taking into consideration the sports that we are best prepared to add because we already have coaches in place would be women's golf.
Yep.
And men's cross country.
Yep. Men's cross country would seem. I mean, it would seem so easy to add men's cross country and women's golf, like you said, because you already have staff, you already have facilities. I mean, there's not. I mean, what are you really adding in men's cross country? There's nothing that you're just adding more runners, which also will help you in some of those distance events that we have during the season. So really, at that point, it just becomes a scholarship issue, so to speak, right?
Correct. Yeah, and adding those sports for us outside of soccer is mainly you would have to have a director and study, so somebody who's over both programs, but then they got to have assistants, somebody who runs kind of like we do with golf. I mean, I'm sorry, with track, right? You have a director and then you have assistants that coach, the different men and women side and focus on specific things. But most of the cost for us would be scholarships, and then some kind of increase for the coaches of those sports taking on additional student athletes, as well as probably funding a assistant coach for those sports too, full time.
Right. I saw, who was it who just asked? I don't think anybody's running a men's bowling program right now.
No, there's no men's bowling in the SWAC for sure.
I will tell you, Demetra, without going deep down the rabbit hole of how the points are accumulated, I was looking here on the SWAC site to see if I quickly could find it. There is a formula. I don't know where it is exactly, but I'll tell you, on the SWAC site, there is a program point total chart, which I guess you can sort of break it down and figure it out. Every school gets, based on your finishes, it equals to a certain amount of points. I don't know if I come across it for next week. Oh, Edwin's looking. So Edwin, appreciate you, Edwin. So Edwin, if you can find that and drop that in the chat room, that'd be helpful. You'd save me.
Yeah, we ain't got time. I have it somewhere. I have it next week for sure. We'll go through it.
Gotcha. All right, good stuff. Again, coming back to softball again, we want to make sure we give a shout out to if you saw the championship game, at the end of the game, there was the all-tournament team, and there were 4 Rattlers that made the all-tournament team. Of course, Keely Spooner, big hits, big home run walk-off to send Alabama State home. Amari Brown, who did well, pitched a one-hitter in
newcomer of the
should have been
year.
newcomer. Should have been newcomer.
Absolutely.
Shameful that she was not coming from the East Division champion. That was absolutely shameful.
But all SWAC tournament.
All SWAC tournament. Zoriana Hughes, of course, all SWAC tournament. Samantha Smith. So all 3 of our pitchers, as you can see, made all SWAC tournament.
And they're all coming back.
All coming back. Well, hopefully, Sam is coming back too, and it's a very, very young squad. A lot of great opportunities for that team.
All 4 of those players, by the way, will be returning. We think.
Yeah. We hope. Let me jump over to baseball if we can. Just came out today or yesterday, I think. Brady Popple, SWAC co-hitter of the week. Of course, FAMU I jokingly told Charles Bishop, who was calling all the Texas Southern games, if I had to take a shot for every time he said Rattlers crossed the plate, I'd have been passed out drunk somewhere in the middle of the game. Because I think we put double digits up on them every game. If I'm not, or at least 2 out of 3, I know we did. I'm scrolling right now here.
Yeah, and we almost 10-1.
2 out of the 3.
15-4, and like what? 8-7. Yeah,
8-7 was the one close game that went. I think that one went 10 innings, where we ended up winning on Saturday in 10 innings. And on that, I saw how that one ended. It was on an error or something that we won in the 10th inning in that game. But this upcoming weekend, we've got Alcorn State, who I'm going to go to another slide here, thanks courtesy of Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Going into this weekend, these are the standings. Of course, Alcorn State dead last. Should be a sweep. Should be. We are locked into no worse than the 2 seed.
Right.
And this is the schedule for this week. And Doc put together this great chart. So this is why I'm showing this. Let me see. Here it is. There is still an outside shot because first the standings are going to be based on win percentage because everybody won't play the full 30 games. You have to play a minimum of 80% of the games, which is 24 games. There's a scenario what Bethune-Cookman playing Texas Southern this weekend where based on win percentage, if FAMU sweeps like we expect and finish at 24-6, and if Texas Southern wins 2 of the 3 games, right? Bethune will finish 23-6 with a 793 win percentage, and we would win the regular season title. So game 1 of the series starts tomorrow.
That's crazy.
And yes, that is what's at stake, because actually
no head-to-head.
Well, because one of Bethune's games got postponed.
I know. Yeah.
And they won't play it. They won't make it up. So
they made softball make it up.
Well, but softball, and see, that's the thing. Softball had an extra weekend, which is something that they will have to address if they change the format of softball. The fact that they gave them an extra weekend off to do makeups, but if they go to a format like baseball, where everybody plays everybody, at least if you play, for example, baseball, for example, there's only 24 that softball is playing, so that's already six less conference games than baseball, right? So that's 2 weekends. So somehow, it'll be interesting to see what the baseball decision makers decide as it relates. But interesting scenario where there's still a sliver of a chance for FAMU to win out. Yeah, good point here by Dr. Cavill joining the show in the chat. The softball coaches pushed for the 100% rule, which is why they had that open weekend, whereas baseball went to an 80% rule. So it allows for.
Hey, I'm not gonna complain.
Edwin, good job, Edwin. I think you and Doc said the same thing at the same time. So.
Let's go TSU.
Exactly. That's what I just said. Go. Hey, the only time you're gonna hear me say "Go Tigers" is this weekend. Go.
Hey, when Coach Bill said what she said, you notice how quiet I was.
Yeah. Exactly. Good stuff. All right, fellas. Anything else? I got one last thing here from out of the comments. Tim Young. All right, guys. As of today, and I know Kelvin, you might be a little more versed than me. I'm not going to speak for Marcus. So Marcus, if you want to get in on Tim's question, where are you ranking the presidential finalists as today? Now, of course, this is 3 of the 4 candidates have gone today, Tim. So I guess this is without Kelvin, you're more familiar and know Dr. Palm probably more than me. I don't know about Marcus, but what would you rank? Where would you rank the presidential finalists as of today?
Well, if you're going by credentials and qualifications and fit and if you're doing the right thing, it's a 2-person race. It's a 1A and it's a 1B. It's Dr. Hector at UCF, who was extremely knowledgeable and articulate and a master of everything that he talked about. And in his presentation, he included athletics and P3s and he actually went into detail about, he looked at our numbers and our metrics and explained them to us. I mean, he was just a breath of fresh air. So let's say that's 1A. And yes, I know Dr. Palm very well. He would do a fabulous job. Wouldn't have an issue with him. He'll be a 1B. And it should be no discussion about anybody else, in my humble opinion.
Marcus, you want to chime in on that?
Nothing to disagree with. I mean, I haven't watched any of the interviews as of yet. But I've been reading some commentary and getting the pulse of it, and I tend to agree with that.
Gotcha. All right. Marcus, any football related news over the past week that you can share with us here? I know a couple of people, it's a little quiet right now, but there's always clamoring for football news.
Yeah, actually, I was updating the slides, and I guess the two biggest commits, I don't think it's been a week. Today's the 14th, but we did get the decommit from CJ Montez last week. But got a commit from RJ Johnson from University of Toledo. They're both being quarterbacks. And RJ's from the ATL from Atlanta. And he's coming from Westlake High School, which operates at I believe it's either Class 6A or Class 7A level. So one of the highest levels. And a recent commitment, a defensive end, Anthony Rozier. I guess relation to be determined. Out of Wakiva High School in Apopka. And he's a redshirt freshman coming from the Wakiva, Orlando area, and redshirt freshman from Appalachian State. And he was a three-star prospect out of high school. So he's coming in fresh, having only seen practice time, not any game time, or at least at the very most 4 games of game experience last year, but I don't think his bio from Appalachian State said that he got in any games this year. So I think those are the 2 newest additions, and we've gone over the previous ones. So, within the last 2 weeks, we've gotten 2 rush defensive ends that both go about at least 6'2", 6'3", 225 plus. So we're building up the rush ends. We still have an onslaught of offers for offensive linemen. I'm starting to see the coaches now go out, offer 2026s. So I know Coach Colsey and a couple of staffers did the swing through. Well, he was in Atlanta, and then he did a swing through South Georgia. And I believe Coach Weston, our new special teams coordinator, is making a swing through the Broward and Palm Beach counties. I don't think he's hit Dade County yet. I don't know. That might be Coach Colsey's territory, but it looks like the schools he visited this week, because they're making posts on social media, the schools in Broward and perhaps Palm Beach County. But we did hit South Georgia, Coach Colsey, and I believe Coach Mo, and the new defensive ends coach. His name is slipping my mind right now. But I think they did the rounds in South Georgia. So they hit Cairo, Bainbridge,
Colquitt County.
Colquitt County, and
Thomasville, Thomas Central.
Those 2. And I think I saw an offer today. I may have just retweeted it from a young man. There's 2 classes out, class of 2027 wide receiver.
Brooks County.
Yep. So they're making good so far. I know Coach Colsey, when he came on previously, said he wanted to make the rounds in the high schools because he didn't want to become overly dependent on transfers, in the sense of not having relationships with the high school. So they're making the rounds, at least so far. And I know that within the next month or so, today's the 14th, so probably I think there's a camp the first week in June. So
that's transfer camp.
Yeah. And then I think they're having a skills camp also.
Right.
Well,
right. Afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah. But we've made a lot of offers to offensive linemen. I haven't seen anyone commit as of yet, and I haven't been able to tally up everything on a spreadsheet because they're coming so fast. And with my computer issues, I haven't had a chance to update everything. But it seems to be an awful lot of offers to some transfer offensive linemen, whether they be JUCO or NCAA.
Hey, and let me just add why we kind of, I'm gonna throw something else into this. So Kendall Bowler had signed a 3-year deal with some pretty nice numbers behind it.
With the Denver Broncos, right?
So I understand, I get it, but if you are a player and you're pretty good at FAMU, think the long game. I'm just saying, consider it. Do that 25, 30 grand you're gonna get to sit the bench somewhere else?
Preach.
Or do you want to start and have opportunity to make a meal or two starting out? I'm just saying, You know, I get it. I get it. It's your choice. You know, you got to do what's best for you. But FAMU is producing.
Was that like 5, maybe 6 players over the last
Yeah.
few years?
It's a challenge because, you know, I agree 100 with what you're saying, Kelvin, but we also know that there are certain guys who stayed. There are guys who stayed, and they're still waiting on an opportunity through the off-draft season now. And so, for whatever reason, it hasn't happened for them. And not saying it won't, but
everybody ain't.
I know that.
Everybody won't get opportunity, but you know,
I know that.
if you got the measurements, the speed, and the film, again, I keep saying, you got to have film to get to that next level. So I'm just saying, you know, if you're in a situation that's putting you in that position, that's where you want to be short term. But if not, just make sure you get your degree and stay positive.
Get your degree and stay positive. That last part, though.
Yeah.
That last part. Again, that date, that the transfer camp that Marcus, you were talking about for junior college transfer athletes and 2025 graduates. It's a showcase June 4th. Coach Cozy hosting that FAMU showcase. Registration begins at 9:30 a.m. Camp is at 10:30 a.m. I'm sure you can, if you know of an athlete and you want to tag them.
Like, hey, you might want to take advantage of this.
Yeah, you know.
Now, fellas, I'm gonna have to get ready to depart.
Yeah, we can get ready to. I don't know. We have much more, so
we did have
get
two.
Ready to close it. What you
we
got?
got at least a couple nuggets tonight. A couple breaking news.
We did.
So, you know, Coach Ward, I guess, with the 5 players that are returning.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we didn't really know, and actually on social media, I think the only one
was Chapman.
Chapman said he was coming back, right? We didn't know about the other ones. Or at least they hadn't put anything out.
Right.
And also, Coach Beal gave us another name to look at. And I was, while y'all were chit-chatting, I was looking
at. You got that down? You took that down, Marcus?
I did. And I already got the info lined up. She got Player of the Year for her community college conference. She's out of Alabama. Well, she went to a community college in Alabama. She played high school ball, Class 6A in Alabama. I can't determine where they ended up from her high school, but she had like a 400+ batting average, and she plays in the outfield. So, you know, loading up. So that's, I guess, one experienced player in addition to the 5 high school signees that Coach Beal's bringing in. And then, of course, and actually I didn't know there was a softball portal Twitter account, so I just started following that yesterday. So I know there's a volleyball one and a softball one. So I've been following both to see what perks up. Oh, that's what I forgot. And also in the Olympic sport, I need to add the tennis young lady, Gabrielle Pierce. I can't find the second one from Augusta that Coach Nikki mentioned a couple weeks ago, but I'm still looking. Demetra, I think it's Jordan Chapman. Actually, I got the roster up now. Caleb Washington.
That's surprising.
Jameen Charles.
Love that.
Tyler Shirley. Yeah. I don't remember him getting a lot of playing time last year.
I think he was injured early.
Yeah, he got injured.
And there's one more. Leonard Taylor.
Yep.
So a couple guards. Let's see, 1, 2 guards. And at least 3 forwards. So Caleb Washington goes 6'8", 210 according to last year's roster. Jameen Charles is 6'11", 220 according to last year's roster.
Love the way Charles played last year. Washington is an X factor. If Washington,
he's that point forward. If
you caught that, right?
If he's the point forward, if he puts in the work.
If this is right, I mean, Washington can be what Ward is hoping, and maybe that was the sell in getting him.
Right.
We'll see.
Mm-hmm. So, and I'm glad that, because I was looking at who we had signed. Just the 3 commitments and signees that we have. We have one high schooler from Sagemont Prep and a young man from Monroe College who's a forward. And then we have Anquan Bolin Jr. So, but I was wondering about height, like anybody over 6'9", because all those guys are going to be running I think 6'7" and below.
Washington's 6'9".
No, until he announced that they were coming back. But of the signees, because we didn't know who was coming back. If you just added Jordan Chapman and the three who announced on social media, it's like, okay, we got to really, our team doesn't have anybody in the middle. But now that we have those guys coming back, it kind of fills out the roster a lot more.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm gonna tease people real quick. The GM, if we close the deal, will probably be a current NBA player.
Okay. That'd be interesting. So it's not. Hold on, I'm gonna go back because I starred some of these folks. So hold on, it's not gonna be Sam Cassell. No, not Sam Cassell.
It was. That was a good guess. Yeah, the Florida State guys.
Better than Charles Oakley and Pat Ewing. I would tend to think, right? That's good. All right. Well, that'll be fun to watch. Yeah. Okay. Anything else, Kelvin? Any other meat on the bone? I think did both of you get a chance to look at the Falcons schedule that came out? The Atlanta Falcons?
I have not.
No. I see we playing like a game in Germany, I think. But that's the only thing I saw.
Colton Falcons play November 9th in Indy.
Yeah.
I thought that was the one that was going to Germany.
Oh, is it?
I saw something yesterday because somebody put out an announcement.
You're right.
Oh, you're right. It is.
You're right.
It is.
That's
the one in it's in Belgium. Or no, is that Berlin? Berlin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yo, how about you guys up for a trip to Berlin?
Not during football season.
Wait a minute.
What date is that game?
November 9th. What do we have going on? It's the week after Jackson State. What do we got going on that weekend?
Probably what, Bama, A&M, or somebody?
Hold on, I was just look at the. I took the scroll off the screen. I had the schedule running on the screen. Hold on, there's the scroll. I don't know who. Yeah, it's a good question. Who do we have that weekend?
Tony, I said a current NBA player.
Bob Surratt. You guys are funny, man. You name any other former and old FSU New York Knicks players.
You may not be wrong by looking at Florida State players.
Hint. Okay. Nah, you know what? Hold on. Okay, here we go. Oh, look. Hey, we're at UAPB. Come on, fellas. Let's go. Come on. Let's take a trip. Let's all figure a way how to go to Berlin. Watch the Colton Falcons in Berlin. Maybe we could do a show from over in Berlin somewhere. I don't know. Let's talk about it some more offline. Come on now.
Hey, quick question for you. Like renewing of the season tickets I'm thinking basketball. How does that work? You have to send out an email if you bought a ticket last year?
Yeah. If you bought it through the system, the Ticketmaster system of the university, they'll be sending out, if they hadn't already, they'll be sending out a renewal for you to log into, and it'll have your invoice, and you log in and just pay your invoice online.
Can you add to it?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
All right. Well, I guess I'm going to jump online and kind of look at these various NFL schedules, and I know that's going to be fun for a lot of people who love that kind of talk. it give me something to do over the next 3 or 4 days until game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, which
congratulations.
The Pacers have already knocked out.
The Pacers are in the Eastern Conference Finals. And thankfully the Celtics won today, so that means the Knicks have to play one more game. So the Celtics won today. The Knicks got to play one more game.
I know the Knicks couldn't close them out, man.
Yeah, no.
You can't trust the Knicks.
You sure
can. Oh my gosh, Knicks and Pacers.
Oh man, yeah, we'll get an overdose.
30 years ago.
Exactly.
Hey, don't be so quick to count. I know the Tatum not there, but I'm telling you, you can't trust the Knicks.
You think? Look, that would be a great upset if Boston can win 3 in a row without Tatum.
Let me tell you, if the Knicks don't win the next game, I think they're gonna lose the series.
Cheeks get tight. Cheeks are gonna get tight. Is that what you say?
They better win game 6.
They better win game 6. There it is. Kelvin said it. All right. Well, hey, Marcus, this will be a good time to go watch all these schedule release because everybody's doing a funky video. So that'll be fun to watch. Everybody, I'm just looking at. I pumped on something the Bills did, so we can break that down. All right. I think we've got everything covered. Been an amazing show tonight. Definitely got to thank Coach Charlie Ward. Thank Coach Brittany Beal for coming on the show. Thank all of you guys in the chats, wherever and however you're watching us. Thank you to the alumni and the students of Florida A&M University. Your voice was heard today. And what a powerful voice it is. And that is a great reminder in our athletic diaspora. And that's something that we need to remember. We definitely need to remember that. And Dr. Palm will have his day today or Thursday. And then I guess over the weekend,
close business Friday, possibly.
Wow. That's gonna be it. That's gonna be interesting.
We just got a baseball commit. Well, actually it happened 11 hours ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miles Potter.
Where's he from?
De Anza. I don't know if De Anza is a JUCO or a high school. But let me see, Miles Potter.
I agree with you, Edwin. Yep.
From Mountain Lion to Rattler. De Anza,
hey,
whoever De Anza.
Jeremy Musa, isn't he playing overseas over in it's one like the World League or something like that?
He's from JUCO.
Not sure on that one.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get ready to shut it down, guys. It's been a great night. Hey, remind everybody out there, hit the thumbs up and the like button, however and wherever you're watching the show. You can always contribute to the O&G StrikeZone in a multitude of ways. You can hit the Cash App button there. You could also leave a super chat if you're on the JBN Online, my JBN Online, Jericho Broadcast Network, YouTube feed. However and wherever you watch the show, it's greatly appreciated.
Ooh.
What?
Sound like you like croaking.
My voice is gone. It's gone. It's done. We're done. All right. Well, that's it. Enough. I can't even get through the entire outro and all the plugs. BCSN Pod Zone, everywhere you listen to podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, and more. For Marcus Green and Kelvin Rozier, I'm Bryan Fulford. Thank you, Rattler Nation, for supporting the show and continue to support and stand strong for our beloved university. Continue to make your voice heard through the course of the next 48 hours. Don't fall asleep. So stay vigilant, stay strong, and let's defend Mother FAMU for as hard as we can.
That's right. Finish the job.
All right, guys. Congratulations again to Coach G and our women's track program and all of the track athletes that made the podium. Congratulations to you all. We'll look forward to hopefully talking to Coach G next week and some of those athletes, and we'll then have an update on where and what the baseball tournament schedule will look like as well next week. And real quick, shout out to the golf program. They finished up regionals. Didn't go to their hopes and expectations, but it's a great learning opportunity for that very young team. And hopefully it sets a fire that tells them that, hey guys, you are good enough to compete against the best in the country. So
get back in the lab, go to work.
Get back in the lab. So all right, that's gonna do it. Thanks guys, have a good night. Peace out. Things up. Strike, and strike again, baby. We out.
Thank you.